My name is Victor King. I am the Director of Intellectual Property Practice here at Desh International Law. And today we have our partner here with Desh Law, Amrita Srivastava, and she is a certified privacy professional, and she has extensive experience in the privacy area. And today we're going to talk about some issues surrounding privacy. Welcome, and thank you for being here. I have several questions. One of the first questions I have is, a lot of my clients are e-commerce companies, platform providers, or mobile apps that collect user data. And I think it seems like there must be a huge risk associated with these data collection if it's not treated properly. Do you have any advice regarding those issues?
Yeah, I definitely agree that there is a lot of risks associated with improper handling of data. The first risk being compliance risk is that a lot of state attorney generals and the Federal Trade Commission have been penalizing even smaller companies on their failure to protect user data or not complying with their own privacy policy. So that's a huge monetary loss to these companies. Secondly, there is the business and reputational risk. If there could be a loss of business if data is not handled properly and it's breached.
Yeah, it seems important. So what is your advice on how companies should handle user data?
Yeah, my first advice to them is always to build in privacy by design, which is when you're building your product and structuring it, you build in privacy protections at that time instead of looking at it in hindsight. Secondly, to have an internal privacy policy which determines how data is handled by your employees at different levels. Third is to protect data externally. So if you're working with vendors, having proper clauses, data security clauses in your agreements with them, whether it's how they store it or having indemnification for data loss. And lastly, to always comply with the privacy policy that you are providing to your consumers and users, because that's when you don't comply with it, that's where a lot of the unfair trade practice and deceptive practices creep in for the FTC.
Well, that's very important to know. Let's just say there, in the unfortunate event that there's a data breach within a company, how would you advise going about handling that situation?
Yeah, as unfortunate as that is, it's important to be on your feet. The first thing is damage control. Figure out where the breach is occurring, whether it's an employee's specific device or a specific IP address. Figure that out and shut it down as soon as you can. Secondly, compliance. There's a lot of states, most states actually in the US have data breach notification laws which are extremely nuanced. And you would need to work with a privacy professional to address that and make sure you're complying with the law in each state on notifying about breach. And lastly, continue to investigate the breach and monitor the system.
Well, thank you very much for all the important and helpful information. So to sum up, I hear there are several important points regarding privacy. First, it is really crucially important to prioritize your privacy. Always have a privacy by design. Build your product with privacy protections in place. Always important to have important internal and external privacy policies. And always monitor the use of your data internally and always enforce the policy and update it as the company grows. And last but not least, always include data security clauses in the agreements with your vendors.
Yeah. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much for your time today, and that concludes our privacy Q&A session.